pictures I really love are ones that are already there. And I mean that by the world out in front of our eyes and out in front of our nose is there. And most of our work in our pursuit of pictures is grounded in that. And for me, it's been a pursuit of kind of learning, taking pictures, but a lot of the times I get off on little tracks of learning, mostly stimulated by the pictures, and then maybe supported by some of that visual evidence that you put together as you go through a project. When I first started, I was really enamored with West Coast photography and in that genre. So I kind of followed that and learned more about it. And it took me for a nice ride. During the process of taking pictures, I started seeing a lot of other images that were more interesting to me, that were had more psychological implications and stuff. And so I did some series of different things. With a smaller camera, I wanted to be able to work quickly and not be encumbered by a stand camera. So I started shooting everything and not really wanting to follow any rules. I just pointed the camera straight at something, wanted to see what would happen. And a lot of things started happening. I mean, this image is not just about somebody on a ferry boat. It's about, you know, what's going on in our minds as we melt with nature, you know, or meld with it. Anyway, in the process of pointing a camera straight at things, pictures like this kind of came up. And what I sort of realized, what I like about these is, to me, they have a better chance of putting you as a viewer right there and having this in front of your eyes and be what you're seeing. And to me, this became a really important factor of some picture making that I was working on. You can get the viewer to just stand there and experience this, or almost as if they're just seeing this and they are there. To me, that's a very important thing to do with any kind of artwork way. I got sidetracked into what I call, for lack of a better word, a seed series. The thing that I've started learning about these, because I'm not a botanist, but what happens, and this is what happens with a lot of other work I've done anyway, and I'm sure a lot of other people do, when you start getting into something, you learn more and more about it. But what was interesting about this for me was that as more I learn about botany and plants and the history of all of life in relation to that, I still don't know much about these individuals that are taken, but I can sort of relate to them in this point in my life, because a lot of these pictures are about plants in their decline, maybe after they've seeded or formed their function. I've sort of learned that plants have done everything for us. We can't thank plants enough. Plants were really the beginning of life on this planet, and they went through a lot of iterations and changes. And so we have an environment we can live in and thrive in because of plants. One thing I've really learned that's important is that you need to dig deep into things. You need to look closely at things, and especially our earth and our environment and our place in it. But we also need to have, besides looking closely, you need to have a good sense of the big picture.